Shalom, Yasharala. This is your brother Dawud Da from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I don't want to jump into this here lesson, as far as just, doing some reading and stuff like that, conversating with brothers, speaking on this King David spirit, and as we look at the task at hand, we have a great task at hand before us, and just like the scripture said, the things that was written aforetimes was written for our learning and our understanding, and it could also comfort us. And so we're going to take a look at this here story about David and Goliath, all right, and use that as a comparison to till today, David being the house of David, all right, and Goliath being this Goliath ass Edomite demonic ass system that he's trying to come down on us with. All right, this devil in his great wrath. All right, so I'm gonna pick around in here a little bit, and then I'm gonna jump down a little bit. Let me see. Let me start at verse 4. 1 Samuel 17:4. All right, it says, and there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines. So first and foremost, he wasn't just a soldier, all right, he was a champion named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. So, and they, basically he a giant compared to the Israelites, all right, and he had a helmet of brass, all right, and upon his head, and he was armed with the coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. So, if you can understand those chain link, or how they had those little armors that'd be like mesh chain or whatever, whatnot. Homeboy had that, but made out of brass in the helmet. All right, and he had greaves on the brass upon his legs and a target of brass between his shoulders. All right, so homeboy was basically in a whole suit of armor. All right, and the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his spearhead weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing a shield went before him. So homeboy was this big ass giant, and he had another dude walking in front of him with just a damn shield. All right, you know how you think back to those movies like Troy, they had the little or 300, they had the dude holding his own shield and then his sword, fighting. Homeboy, this big ass giant, had this big ass spear with his ass, and he had a whole nother dude walking in front of him with his damn armor. All right, just like these damn Edomites, just like into today, not only is homeboy big, not only is he a soldier, he a champion or an elite of soldiers, all right, just like these Edomites today. Not only is it a military, it's the top military, and not only is homeboy decked out in all brass, all right, he got his shit, well connected, well armored and everything like that. Homeboy is just huge, all right. Let me read verse 9. So homeboy, Goliath is calling out the Israelites. It says, if you be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us. So basically, he's saying, look, come out to fight. If I kill y'all, y'all serve us. If y'all kill me, then we'll serve you, just like these Edomites today. Basically, take the chip or die, fight or die. You're going to either serve us or you're going to just die. But what? The men of the Lord, we're going to be standing up like you'll read down. We're going to read further down King David. Like, nah, bro, we're not going to let you defy the name of the living power, man. We're going to serve him and him only. He is the only true God. You're not going to make us bow down to you we're not going to idolize you and worship you as our God. What kind of shit is that? All right. Verse 11. All right. Hold on. Verse 10, and the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we might fight together, And same with the so-called, this, basically Goliath, like I said, is these Edomites, right? And this system that they got today. Nowadays, what? These Edomites, not saying they come out openly and do this, but what? They taunt and be like, what? Y'all got another so-called black leader? According to prophecies, no man was going to save us, so what? They laugh and taunt, which I got y'all Malcolm X's and so on and so forth. Man, we got all them guys and Farrakhan's, all them corrupted. They ain't gonna lead y'all nowhere. But what is they see us standing up, the men of the Lord standing up, they see us standing and they in great fear. Great fear fell upon them. Verse 11. And when Saul and all Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. And what Saul Saul representing in this scenario, what in modern day today, our so-called black leaders, not in this truth, but just our so-called black leaders that we have. All right. And all Israel is representing what? The 2/3 of our damn people who follow after those damn coons. All right. But what, they was dismayed and greatly afraid. And that's, when you actually take an opposition, look at the so-called white man and the so-called war. All right. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're afraid of, and in reality, they should be afraid. Anybody should be greatly afraid to fight against the so-called white man, because that nigga that's his blessing. His blessing is the sword. You're not fucking with him on that level. All right. Just like a lion in the field, you're not fucking with the lion in his territory. You know what I'm saying? A lion is the king of the jungle, but you bring his ass into the water with the sharks, them sharks gonna eat his ass for dinner. All right. So the so-called white man, you're not fucking with him with his sword. All right, it's no way against it. All right, you can't do nothing against it. As long as he on top of you with that sword, you can't do nothing. Right. However, and that's the same person in their right mind. So, the men of the Lord, all right, we smart enough to realize that first and foremost. And these 2/3, not to say just the 2/3, but the so-called 2/3, the group of the 2/3 that's wise enough to know that they're the so-called race war, and they got so-called black leaders that, represent them, and these so-called black leaders are standing up for, who these people are, like Umar Johnsons and these other motherfuckers like that, right? These people who stand up for that. These people wise enough as well to know that you can't fight the so-called white man. But what's the difference between us and them? We know that our faith and our trust is not in any kind of in our own arm or in the reed of Egypt. Our trust is in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right, our trust is in the power and the glory of the Most High and His Son. All right, in these words. All right. So going back to 11, like I'm saying, I'm painting a picture of everything is representations of things that represent today. Goliath representing the so-called white man and his system that he about to come down on on us with, on all of Israel. All right. Saul representing the so-called black leaders that our people have so-called established for ourselves. All right. The Pharaohs and so on and so forth. And all Israel represent what? The 2/3, whether they be so-called conscious or unconscious against the so-called white man and his atrocities. They all afraid because they don't really know how to come up against this beast. Verse 12. Now David was, hold on, let me jump down. David was basically being sent out to bring his brothers some food, but this was all through the spirit. Let me jump down. Verse 22. And David left his carriage and David left his carriage in the hand of his keeper and the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brethren. All right. It says, and he talked with them, and behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. So basically David came up to his brethren, like he was giving them some food in the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? But Goliath came up and he was still selling out Israel. Man, fuck them niggas. We gonna do this and we gonna do that. The same thing the so-called white man doing today, man. So-called white man ain't like us. When we calling somebody out, we be like, man, fuck y'all niggas, so on and so forth, right? So-called white men do it like this. King Alfred Plan, Rex 84, Project Megiddo. We're going to put laws and doctrines on this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do it by the stroke of the pen. So he doing the same thing today, writing up his doctrine against what he going to so-called do to us. Or we're going to exterminate these niggas. All right? But what? David heard them, and David being what? A man of the Most High's heart. All right? Again, David in these days is representing what? The house of David. All right? Same men with the same spirit. And they just like, nah, hold on, bro. We love the good and we hate the evil, man. What you talking about is pure evil. So of course we're going to say something about it. All right. Verse 24. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were so afraid. So again, going back to the 2/3 of our people, the rest of our people who seeing this, the so-called white man, they're afraid. They're afraid to say something. Our elders and things like that of our nation. Yeah, but that's just how it is. Well, you got to get along to get along, or you got to play your part or whatever, whatnot. They so afraid to come up against the so-called white man and step out and say something against him. And they should be afraid again, because the so-called white man got that goddamn sword. And ain't nothing you can do against him. The reason we can do it is because we got the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua protecting us. And if you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. All right, just to keep it straight up honest with you, man. Not trying to say, oh man, if you strong enough, the so-called white man is a bitch, you could take him down. Nah, I'm basically like one of them little bitch ass niggas hiding behind a damn jail cell. Well, you got some criminal behind a jail cell wall, and I'm over here selling him out behind his cage because I know he can't get to me. You see what I'm saying? I understand that the only protection I got is through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. All right, that's the only thing I got in faith. But in reality, you know what I'm saying? Yo, these people should be so afraid, but what? When we got Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah on our side, we only fear him. All right, the only thing that we fear is what? That he ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? We don't find favor in his sight, you know what I'm saying? And we be delivered into their hands. But other than that, we know he has the power to deliver them into our hands. All right. It says, and the men of Israel say, have you seen this man that has come up? Surely. All right. So let me select it. And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that has come up? Fast forward to today. Y'all seen the so-called white man always shooting us down? Y'all see what this is going on? Y'all see how they be tripping? They just shoot us down and gun us down. Black Lives Matter. Surely to defy Israel, he has come up. You know, Black Lives Matter. People don't care about, the so-called black man. They just kill us in the street. And it shall be done to the man who killeth him. The king will enrich him, and great riches will be given to him, his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. And that was the promise that was made, the decree that was made out to, basically the hit that was put on Goliath's head. That was the price on Goliath's head, And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, and this is a first sign that this is a so-called black man. This is how Jake get down, when they got a reward, like some money, some bitches and shit like that. Oh, we down for some shit like that. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killed this Philistine and taketh away the reproach from Israel? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living power? All right. You know what I'm saying? Let me go back. When he said, what shall be done to this man that killed the Philistine? Man, what's the payoff? What the lick read? Bro, we all in for that, That's Jake talk. But, even more spiritual righteous man, looking at the characteristics of David, first and foremost, he thinking about the Most High. He like, hold up, who is this nigga talking shit about the Most High? I mean, the armies is scared, but fuck that nigga. We got a living power, bruh. We not worshiping no little, we not protecting and bigging up some piece of carved out wood, bro. We got the power that split the Red Sea and delivered the children of Israel on dry ground. What? King David kept the Most High spiritually as the apple of his eye. You know what I'm saying? And all his calamities and all the things he went through. All right. He saw the Most High first and what the Most High could do for him. Not his calamities, it's the calamities first. All right. It says, for who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living power of the Most High? All right. Carnally, David seen in this man was not only, first of all, David, again, is still just this little small little motherfucker, right? That's out there working in the sheepfold. He not even in the army, right? He not even in the military at this point in time, all right? You know what I'm saying? He not even living with Saul at this point in time, all right? He just some little working out in the sheepfold for his father at the crib. His brothers I think one or two of his brothers was in the military. I think two of them was in the military and things like that. So and he's still a little small dude. And he coming up, not only talking to another army man from the other side, another soldier from the other side. He talking to a champion, not just a champion, a fucking giant that's coming out set like, yo, dog, if y'all kill me, I'll be y'all slaves. That's how confident I am. But none of that mattered because he didn't see none of that. What he saw was, bruh, you how dare you blaspheme Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah? Do you know what he would do to you? Lord willing, I be the one that the Lord used to glorify his name in the sight of these fucking heathen. You don't dare move your mouth against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. That was the spirit that David was in. He didn't see that this was no goddamn giant, you know what I'm saying? It's like spiritually, he saw it carnally, but spiritually, all that was out the window. That didn't matter. All right. Continuing on. Verse 27, and the people answered after him in this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. Let me continue on reading. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab, his anger was kindled against David, and said, why comest thou hither? And with whom hast thou left the few sheep in the wilderness? So let me just go ahead there. First of all, King David representing, the elect, the house of David, you know what I'm saying? But and, the elder brother representing what? The 2/3, the rest of our people, you know what I'm saying? Whenever, especially the conscience of our people, not just the twerking ass, Lil John ass niggas of our people, but the so-called conscious ones trying to fight, the polites and
all these other motherfuckers, when they see us, they don't take us serious. Oh, y'all cleaving to the damn Bible and this and that, you know. Y'all over here working with the white man. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all just walking around in dresses. What the hell is y'all doing? But what? It says, what do we get to it? Like, bruh, ain't there a cause? Ain't there a fight, bruh? Isn't there an issue? Y'all don't seem to be doing too much damage to this damn thing. Y'all over there scared. You know what I'm saying? Y'all the army, y'all over there scared. He over here selling y'all out. You and the king scared, bro. I'm not scared over here, bro. King David know that the Lord is walking with him. All right, he not looking at his armaments, his military, his army, and his arms and stuff like that, the carnal sense. He looking in the spiritual sense. But continuing on, it says, why comest thou hither? And with whom hast thou left the few sheep in the wilderness? So, but if you was to read up further up, you know, King David had went on this mission, but he also said when he went on this mission, he left the sheep, all right, with somebody else, you know. He didn't just leave the sheep, you know, he made sure the sheep was attended to because he had a job first and foremost, all right. So all the way around, King David had the Lord like, look, man, this is my job that the Lord instructed me with, you know, keep my father's sheep. That's what I got to do. Keeping that first and foremost. And now that there's a battle at hand, I'm going down there, you know what I'm saying? And hey, you see what I'm saying? I made sure that they wasn't unattended. I didn't just leave them out to die. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that wouldn't make me a good soldier, you know? I let this hand go and try to grab somebody with the other hand. No, I can't let go with the other hand. I got to, you know, hold firm to that what I was already presented with. It says, I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thy heart. Thou hast come down that thou might seest the battle. All right. And what? These 2/3 be accusing us of some bullshit. Oh, I know the pride of thy heart. You just wanted to come. Look, bro, you done left the sheep all unattended to. Nigga, get back to work, nigga. Why you left the sheep unattended to just so you can come get entertained and see the battle? Nevertheless, not looking at reality. In reality, David could have been like, nigga, y'all the one over here scared. Y'all the ones over here cowering and hiding. And I didn't leave the sheep unattended. I left them with somebody who was going to take good care of them. And I didn't come down here to see that y'all get y'all ass beat. I came down here to fight this nigga. I came down here to put him in his place, man, because I ain't scared, bruh. Y'all over here scared. I'm walking with the Lord. Y'all over here walking with y'all army and y'all armor and all this and that. Bro, I'm walking with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, man. I don't see none of that. All right. Verse 29. And David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? Like, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? I came down here prepared to, you know what I'm saying? Is there not somebody out here with a challenge, bruh? Ain't somebody out here calling out a fight? Tell me some, which one of y'all finna fight? Who wanna fight? Who big and bad and wanna fight? And ain't nobody producing a cause. I'm right here, bro. What's up? Verse 30. And he turned from him towards another and spake the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed before Saul, and he was sent before. So David's still like, yo, bro. What's the prize for the nigga who knocked this, you know, this Philistine out? What's the bag? Like they said today, what's the money bag go for? What's the bag for somebody? What's the bag on homeboy head? All right. I got him. Put the word out to Saul. I got him. It says, and when the words were heard, which David spake and were heard before Saul, he sent for him. So Saul heard. And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight this Philistine. So David said, look, to the king, this little boy who ain't in the army or none of that, in the face of the king, like, look, bruh. Tell the military to stop pissing in their pants, man. And you stop being scared too, bruh. Don't worry about this. I got this, bruh. I know what's going on. I got this. You know what I'm saying? In the carnal sense, they like, man, what the fuck is going on here? You got this little nigga, like, you can't even hold a sword, bruh. And you talking about going to go fight. Yeah, but I got the heart, though. Y'all ain't got heart. That's what y'all missing. And you know what, heart representing that faith. Y'all lacking faith. Y'all don't have that faith inside of y'all. That's what y'all lacking. All right? And Saul said unto David, thou art not able to go and fight against this Philistine to fight him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. All right, showing the carnal comparison. All right, looking on it outwardly. And David said unto Saul, thy servant. So, and that's just like us in the same time. Y'all can't go up here and debate the so-called white man and fight the so-called white man and his military and these Jews and these establishments, these professors. Y'all just some niggas. Most of y'all might or might not have a high school diploma. Y'all some plumbers and janitors and warehouse workers. Y'all ain't no serious ass niggas, but no. Y'all lacking. Y'all forgetting the most important part, bruh. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah is blessed us with his spirit and he's supping with us, bruh. He the one giving us this information. We his mouthpiece. We not speaking our own words. We speaking his words. We're not looking at a carnal fight, bro. We're looking at the spiritual fight, man. Verse 34, looking back on our experience that the Most High is grooming us through, all right? Verse 34, and David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took the lamb out of the flock. So he just looking at a regular, simple-ass carnal experience in his bullshit-ass job, watching over the sheep, right? And that's some, working in a warehouse. I was working in a warehouse and some shit got real, and this is how I got through it. I depended on the Lord, Says, now, and look at the example he using. Both of these animals he about to tell you about can both kill a man, a regular-sized man, a regular-sized soldier, let alone a little boy. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept thy father's sheep. All right, he had a responsibility. He was responsible for these sheep. And there came a lion and a bear and took the lamb of the flock. So a lion and a bear came and took one of these sheep. David, who was responsible for these sheep, couldn't just go back and report, hey, man, the lion and the bear took your shit. I ain't got no evidence, but he gone. I ran. I was scared. Nah, David didn't act like that. It says, and I went after him, and I smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and I smote him and slew him. All right? And so, let me continue on. And thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. So King David was like, look, bro, I had a responsibility to keep after these sheep. And a hungry-ass lion, which could eat a man, and a hungry-ass bear, which both could eat and kill a man, came up, and took this sheep. And I was like, shit, I got a job to do. I rolled up my sleeves, and I went forth in the power of the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, knowing, not looking on the carnal sense, knowing that I was smaller and was in danger of these hungry-ass animals. I could have been their next snack. But no, looking at the responsibility and looking at how the Lord had already delivered me beforehand, all right, he going to deliver me this time again. All right. It says, thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living power. Not because he defied David, not because he sold David out. Nah, because David wasn't fighting for himself. David was fighting for the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right. He was fighting for that his namesake, because they was being those names was being blasphemed. All right, now we gonna be all gods. Y'all gonna worship us, but the Most I say, you should not have no other gods before me. Thou should not bow down before me. But these Philistines said, now y'all gonna bow down before us. David was like, who the hell are y'all to defy the living powers of the Most High? He said, we're gonna do one thing and one thing only, and y'all ain't nobody to correct him. All right, who do you think that you are? Let me shut your mouth before you move again to blaspheme yourself and to condemn yourself any further. All right, and David said, and going back, looking at his experiences that the Most High had took him through, he looking back on that, man, the Most High delivered me. I always tell people today, man, I ain't never really wanted for nothing a day in my life, man. And not saying that proudly or boastfully, I'd have been homeless, hungry, and all kind of fucked up shit in my life. But if I'm able to tell you that to this day, that's the living proof that the Most High has delivered me from all those fucked up situations. So in all reality, I ain't never wanted him a day in my life. I might have been homeless for X amount of period of time, but what? He was delivering me from one state to another state. I might have been hungry from one point to another point, been fucked up in all kind of scenarios. But as long as I'm here to tell you this right here, this day, hey, man, I ain't never wanted for nothing a day in my life. And y'all, if you able to receive this and can say the same thing, you in the same boat. David understood that, hey, man, I was hungry, I was homeless, I was fucked up. But what? The Lord did this, and that, and delivered me. So what? He gonna do the same today, man. This ain't nothing but another one of those obstacles, bruh. Go ahead and buckle down. It's like a man, whoever got a flat tire or a blowout. Well, after the first blowout, it was kind of horrible, whatever, whatnot. But after about the first one, the second one, you have a third one. Well, shit, we had a blowout. Got to pull over, get the jack out. You know how this shit go. We'll be back on the road in 30, 45 minutes. Ain't no big deal. All right. Verse 37. David said, moreover, Yahweh that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and Yahweh be with thee. So, again, David, keeping the Most High as the apple of his eye. He didn't say, look, I'm gonna go kill these niggas. I'm gonna go get this pride and this glory, this and that. Nah, he gave all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. He said, look, let me give you a previous example of how Yahweh Bashim Yahushua delivered me. And I'm gonna show you how Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is gonna deliver me again to bring honor and glory back unto his name and take away the reproach from this goddamn uncircumcised Philistine, bring a reproach into his name, saying we're gonna serve him instead of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And in the same way, Esau doing the same thing. Now y'all gonna serve the so-called white man with this RFID chip. You're gonna be niggas, spics, and Hispanics or whatever, whatnot, instead of the children of Israel. That's what y'all gonna do. Y'all gonna keep being heathens and being homosexuals. That's what y'all gonna keep doing. But what? The minute the Lord is standing up saying, nah, we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna serve you how about Shimi Yahushua. All right. So like, let me grab one precept real quick. Hopefully I don't get cut off.
I don't want 2 Samuel. I want Joshua 12. I think it's verse 24. No, it's not 12. So like, let me look for this. 24 and 12, maybe. Yep. This is Joshua 24 and 14. Now therefore fear Yahweh and serve him in sincerity and in truth. Put away the gods which your father served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve Yahweh. If it seem evil unto you to serve Yahweh, choose you this day whom you will serve. All right. Whether the gods of which your father served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in the lands whom you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve Yahweh. Because looking back, like in that example right there that was given, looking back, you know, you have scenarios where the Lord had delivered us into the lands of these these heathen for going off. All right, the Lord had already done wonders for us. So looking back at our previous examples, we already, we have an example to walk by, more or less to say. Let me go. Where are we at? Verse 38. And Saul armed David with his armor, and put on a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with the coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proven it. And David said unto Saul, can I go with thee? For I have not proven them. And David put them off. So you got to put this in perspective. Saul was a big ass dude, right? First of all, Saul was a big ass dude. He had this big ass javelin, and when he used to get mad at David, once David moved into the palace with him, he would throw at certain people and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like David, he would actually catch people by the back of their clothes, and it would hang their ass up on the wall. So you got to imagine the type of weight of a type of javelin that would be able to hold a grown ass man up by his clothing, basically, big ass dude would be able to bear that. So David, as a young kid, nowhere in comparison to the size of Saul at this point in time. Saul put all this armor on top of him, and everything all big for him. The armor too big for him, the sword too big for him. He can't even swing the sword because he don't know how to use it. It's like giving somebody for the first time, a tank or a F-35 fighter jet. Like, yo, bro, you gonna need an F-35. Like, bro, I don't know how to fly this shit, bro. I'm gonna be done killed myself before I could even. I'd be done shot off a damn missile trying to turn a damn plane on, be done killed myself before I even got into the sky, bro. Like, I don't need this shit, bro. David said, I'm gonna work with what I have from my youth. Yahweh Shimi Awashai. I ain't never had nothing but Yahweh Shimi Awashai, so that's all I got. I'm going into the fight with that. All right, a faithful fight, a spiritual fight. All right. One more precept. This is Ephesians 6 and 12. 6 and 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality. Salakia. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That's what King David saw. I don't see this big ass giant. I don't see him as no big ass. That's flesh and blood that I see. Yes, he can crush me like that because of his size and everything. But we're not wrestling against that, all right? But against principalities and powers, against rulers of darkness in the world, and against spiritual wickedness in high places. Our fight is first and foremost a spiritual fight. So it says, wherefore we take unto the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand evil in the day, having done all to stand. So David took off a physical armor that was too big for him and swords that he couldn't. It's like the fighter jet analogy. You don't know how to fly a fighter jet. What's the point of using a fighter jet? Even though, yeah, fighter jet, bro, you can take a fighter jet and go nuke them niggas, bro. Yeah, that will help you out greatly. But if you can't fly the damn jet, that's your worst enemy. You'd be better off actually going hand-to-hand combat. That's what you know. All right. So the scripture is saying take on the spiritual armor, not the physical armor. All right. And basically, it's the word of the Lord, going back to these scriptures, having faith in the Lord. Let me get back to the scriptures so we don't get cut off here. Verse 40. And he took off his staff in his hand and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook and put them in a shepherd's bag, which he had, even in a script, and a sling was in his hand, and he drew near the Philistine. So David, normally had his little sling, his bow and arrow, whatever you want to say. Or not bow and arrow, his little slingshot, whatever you want to say. And also it says his script. And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man bare a shield before him. So this big ass giant and another dude before him with a shield came before him, just like in today's times, man. We got
these Edomites about to roll on us with their 5G system, they AI and all this extra shit, all right? And when the Philistine looked and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth, ruddy and fair countenance, all right? And that's not talking about white, you know? But nevertheless, this giant is like, man, look at this little nigga. Just like the so-called white man today. And the government today, man, they got nukes, they got drones, they got AI, they got the 5G system, they got all kind of different weapons against us, and they real threat is what? The men of the Lord. We ain't got no guns. We spend the majority of our time reading the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Like, some shit pop off, like we really in the bad scenario. We might not know our real surroundings around us. We, you know what I'm saying? We live in paycheck to paycheck. We ain't really got no food source and stuff like that, bro. We'll be starved out in a couple days. Our only true weapon is in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right? And the Philistines said unto David, you know, that's the so-called white man laughing at us. And David said, and the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods, like, you stupid nigga, how dare you, stupid nigga? That's like the so-called white man today. You stupid niggas, how dare you come up against us? Nigga, we got nukes, nigga. We got drones. We got microscopic drones. We can just put your face up on the news and say that you terrorists and now you can't go nowhere and everybody gonna try to fight you or something. And the Philistine said unto David, come to me and I will give my flesh, I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. And David said to the Philistine, all right, so Salakia, basically like the so-called white man today, like really he can come down and totally annihilate us, all right? Really, he just tell our parents or our family that we terrorists and then our whole family against us in the news and everybody against us. That'd be pretty fucked up, right? Verse 45, then David said unto the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and a spear and with the shield, and I come to thee in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts, the power of the armies of Israel, whom thou defilest. And that's us today, standing in great boldness in the face of those who afflict us with what? These scriptures in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. We coming and defying these damn Edomites, you know. We not hiding none of this shit, man. This on the internet, man. They got us, they know our message, man. They know that we telling them, look, man, it's going to be death to America, man. Donald Trump and all y'all motherfuckers, y'all not going to be sitting on top. These Edomites not going to be sitting on top for very long, man. We ain't got the power to do nothing against y'all. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, y'all can exterminate us a million times on over. But what? We got Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua on our side and his word. All right, and in his word, talking about the Medes and the Russians and everybody else, they going to nuke the fuck out of y'all niggas. So what? We not tripping, bruh. We not looking at no carnal fight. Yeah, in the carnal fight, y'all got us. Y'all got all the technology to overdo us a billion times over. The whole planet for that sake. But what? We looking at this as a spiritual fight. We got a power that's the creator of the heavens and the earth that's about to send his son and a whole host of angels and everything else to come devour your ass. We not worried about that, all right? It says, verse 46, this day Yahweh delivered thee in my hand, and I will smite thee and take thy head from thee, and I will give thy carcass of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that the earth may know that there is a power in Israel. So David, not speaking proudly or boldly upon his own self, but exalting the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, showing you what Yahweh, it says, this day Yahweh delivered thee into my hand. Not this day will I fuck you niggas up. That's taking power and glory in your own hand. Nah, this day Yahweh destroyed your ass. Yahweh delivered you into my hand. This day Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has brought you Edomites down to the ground, man. This day has he exacted judgment on you people, man. All right, this is the spirit that we need to be in, because this is the fight that we got at hand, man. Not what we're going to do in our own power, in our own might, in our own glory, where we're going to raise up our own black community, our own black armies, our own black guns, and fight the so-called white man. Nah, man, we can't fight him with his sword. We ain't no match with him, because like in this scenario, we ain't nothing but a small little child compared to this big ass giant that's got another person in front of him with a shield in front of him. You know what I'm saying? Not only are we fighting the so-called white man, but we fighting his military and all these other nations against us, and all these different elements that he got with his sword. All right, we ain't no comparison to him. But what? Well, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, hey man, we got him in a trick bag, man. All right, or Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua got him in a trick bag. Verse 47. And all this assembly shall know that Yahweh saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is Yahweh's, and will give you unto our hands. So again, our fight today, our weapons of warfare is not carnal, bruh. We're not fighting against flesh and blood, and that's not how we're gonna come and fight you. Not with flesh and blood or in the carnal sense. We're fighting you with a spiritual sense, with these prophecies to let you know that the Lord reigneth, and first of all, in all the realm of man and in heavens above. All right. Let me see. Let me just continue on down.
let me just read this and we're going to finish up. It says, and it came to pass when the Philistine arose and there drew nigh to meet David, that David hastened and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead and sunk it into his forehead, and he fell upon the face of the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword and drew it out of the sleeve thereof, and slew him and cut off his head therewith. And the Philistines saw the champion was dead and fled. And the men of Israel and of Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistines until they came into the valley of the gates of Ekron. And the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way of Sharam, even into Gath and unto Ekron. And the children of Israel returned from chasing after the Philistines and spoiled their tents. And David took the head of the Philistines and brought it to Jerusalem and put on his armor in his tent. All right, let me jump down to verse 57. And David returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, and Abner took him and brought him before Saul with the head of the Philistine in his hand. All right, and so that's where I wanted to get it. He went to go get his reward with the damn Philistine's head in his hand. But just like how he told him, he's like, look, bro, in this day, the Lord going to deliver you into my hand just like everybody else. I'm going to take your damn head up off your head. But what it said, David killed his ass, all right, with a small little stone. He didn't even have to put his hands on him, really. Like, he knocked him down and stunned him with the stone. He didn't really have to, you know what I'm saying, to do all that with his hands up on him. He got him kind of from a little small distance, you know. With a small little stone, he brought down this big-ass giant. Just like in the vision of Daniel in the statue, that big-ass statue, there was a small stone cut without hands that came and shattered that whole statue, you know, being all symbolic, you know. Same way with the same thing, man. We're going to wind up smashing this big-ass giant, all right, with a stone that's cut without hands, being Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, having that faith in him. He going to raise us up to the prey. The Lord going to put his spirit onto us, and we're going to follow after his will, and we're going to wind up taking this here kingdom, man. So we don't have to sit here and worry about it. Yeah, this is a big-ass giant that we got to fight, you know, that we face in this day. And there's no way possible that we can fight this damn giant Edomite, you know. But what? The Lord is going to deliver him into our hand, you know. We're going to go and collect the kingdom of heaven by taking the crowns off the heads of these kings. And just like in this example, what? We came to cash in to get our bounty, walking around with we're going to be walking with the damn Edomite's head in our hand, you know. Now, who else want to, you know, what other Edomite want to negotiate with us? We got the rest of your Edomite brothers' heads right here with their crowns on them now. Like, who the king of who? We got their crown right here with their head still attached to it, bro. We taking yours next, you know. So with that, Lord willing, this here was edifying to the elect. You know, Lord willing, I was giving you a little motivation, you know, in case you looking at this damn giant that we facing. But what? The Lord, hey, he did it aforetime. He gonna do it again, man. Lord, when I was edifying to the elect, until next time I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught us this truth from that root well. And salutation, much love for your arcane pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time I say, stay strong. Shalom.